All right. So today we will talk about measure of central tendency, and most of you guys will aware of all this concept. It's pretty much simple. We studied that in our school. So just want to spend some time today on this, and we'll go to the higher concepts as and when we proceed with the classes, right? So today's session will be mostly the understandable concepts, or we already know those concepts. We'll discuss that only, right? It's nothing new, but just quickly we'll discuss that. So measure of central tendency, in that we already have the understanding of mean, median, and mode, right? And that is what we have to discuss today. So for example, let's consider that we have a set of data, right? From that set of data we have to find the mean, we have to find the median, and we have to find the mode. Let's say I have a data something like 32, 29. Let's say I did a survey and I got to know the people's age, and these are the different ages: 20, then 23, 32, 24, 33, and 25. Right, so these are my students, and I want to capture their age, and these are the ages which I have. Now, someone say that let's say uh, a guy comes to me and says that you are teaching, and what is the age of your students? Like, what is the age of the students? Now, I want to give a number which is like, uh, I can say a common number or a middle number, or a number which will actually help me to explain the entire population. So in that case, I will obviously not say that my students uh, are 32, 35, 36, 20, 29, and so on. I cannot say that. I will say that the average is this, or the median is this, or the mode is this, something like that. I want to give a number which will help me to explain about my population data. Now, the first measure which is we normally use is mean, then the median, and the mode. Now, mean is nothing but when I take, now again there are different type of means basically, but the most common mean which we have is known as arithmetic mean, right? Which we know also say as average, an average. So the arithmetic mean is nothing but when you sum up all the values and then divide by total number of values. So if you see here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 values we have, and I'll sum up all these values will lead to uh, the total sum, and then out of that we'll have to divide it by 8. So if you see here, we have 32, 29, 20, 23, 32, 24, 33, and 25. Total comes out to be total 8 values, and then I have to divide the sum of all this with 8, which is the count of the number of records, and that is what my arithmetic mean is all about. Now, if I will do that, so let me use the power of Excel, and do the sum. So I'll apply the sum. In fact, we can directly do the average as well. We have the function available here, but we'll go with a layman and we'll try to first sum the value. So here I will take all the values and take the sum. The sum comes out to be 218. Now I'll divide this 218 by total number of records. So total number of records, we already know that it is 8. So the mean comes out for this data set is 27.25, right? So the mean is 27.25. Now you can see that yes, this looks pretty good, right? And it's almost, I can say it's at the center, and uh, I can say that yes, the population is around 27 years of age. There is a concept of median. Now the median is nothing but where I want to take the middle value. Now, what is the middle value? First of all, I have to sort my data, right? As of now, my data is not sorted. Once I will sort my data and take the middle value, will considered as a median. Now, how to sort the data? Maybe it can be ascending order, or it can be a descending order, right? So if you see the data here, 20 is the minimum value. So I'll go with the ascending order. So 20 is the minimum value. Then we have this is my first value. Then this is my second 23 second value. Then looks like 24 is the third value. 25 is the fourth value, right? Then 29th is the fifth value. Then we have 32 two times. So this is my sixth value, seventh value, and the eighth value, right? These are the sequences. Now, from this, if I'll start uh, making the data into the ascending sorting, so it will be 20, then 23, then 24, then 25, then we have 29, then we have 32, then 32, then 33. And this is what my data is sorted. Now here I have even values. If you see the total number of count we have is 8, and when we have the even value, in that case, we have to take the middle two values. So middle two values nothing but 20, 23, 24, 25, and 29 are the middle values. And then I will take the average, right? That is the average. So I will take the average of 25 plus 29 divided by 2, and that average is actually a median. So when we have an even value, at that point in time, I'll take the average of middle two values, and when we have odd value, then obviously I'll take the middle value, right? So that is how my median is getting calculated. So if I'll take the average of 25 and 29, I'll just directly see here 27, right? So you can see in here at the bottom. So which is pretty much near to my the mean, right? It's almost the same. Then finally, we have the concept of mode, and mode is nothing but how frequently, like which number is frequently coming in. From this data set, we have 32 coming twice. So 32 will be my median. Now there are chances that I may have multiple values. For example, let's say I have a set of data 20, 20, 23, 25, 29, 32, 32, and 33. Now here, if I see 20 is coming two times, and 32 is also coming two times. So this type of data is known as bimodal data, right? Bimodal. I have two modes, so it's a bimodal data. Suppose I have three values coming multiple times, like same iterations, then it will be my trimodal data. And more than three values which are coming in my data set, then I will say it's multimodal data, right? So that is how we can name it. So from here, you can very well say that mean, median, mode, as a very layman term, I will try to help you understand that if let's say I have this data set and I'll try to create a plot, something like, let's say I have suppose I have a plot here, and I'm trying to plot the value. The value is like 20. So 20 has one iteration. Then 23 has one iteration. So 23 has one iteration. Then we have 24, 25. Then we have 33, I guess. 32, sorry. 32 we have two times. And then we have 33. These are the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One value is missing, which is 20, 22, 20, 23, 24, 25, 29. So 29 is missing. So let's say 29. Like this is my 20, the first value. Now, when my data is distributed like this, you can see that I have more entries here, 32. So my mode is coming somewhere here, and my mean and median is coming somewhere here. Right? So here my data is like almost in the same range, and mean median mode will be at almost in the same range as well. Right? Normally, that is how it actually follows. We'll take some more example later on. We'll be able to understand. So once I have a data set where I don't have any outliers, we'll talk about one example now in outliers as well. So when there is no outliers in the data set, in that case, the mean, median, and mode is all the three values will be in this almost in the same range. Right. So this is how we can calculate mean, median, and mode. Now with this concept, we'll try to actually solve some of the bimodal data. So there is a question that if we have bimodal data, then mode will be both the numbers. That is why it is known as bimodal. It has two modes. If it has three mode values, then trimodal. All right. Then it will be both the numbers. That is why we gave the name as bimodal. Now let's take another example based on what we have understanding is. Let's say we interviewed in the institute, right? Like we went to the college and we did some interview, and we checked with the freshers and checked with the final year students that how many pieces of fruit you guys eat, right, uh, on a daily basis. So we did the survey, and from that survey we got to know that we got to know that, let me put the numbers. So let's say fruits and numbers. How many numbers of the fruit are you consuming? So let's say 0 fruit, 1 fruit, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Right. So there are people who are saying that I'm consuming 0 fruit. There are people who are saying that I'm consuming 1 fruit, and so on. So from here, from the survey, we got to know that one student is consuming 0 fruit. All right. Two students consuming 1 fruit. Two students consuming 2 fruits. 4 students consuming 3 fruits. 3 students consuming 4 fruit. One student consuming 5 fruit, one student consuming 6 fruit, and then there are like 0 students, no fruits consumption here, and in 19, like one of the student consuming 19 fruits. Okay. So now, if you see here, I'm getting the student details here, and I want to know how many fruits are consumed by the freshers. Now these are like let's say freshers. These are freshers. Now here you can see that 0 fruit consumed by one student. So obviously this will be 0, right? So if I will write a maths here, so it will be 0 into 1, because there is a student, one student who is consuming 0 fruit. So 0 into 1 plus 2 students are consuming 1 fruit. So obviously 2 into 1 I have to take, because the total number of fruits will be 2. So 2 into 1 plus 2 into 2. So I'll do all this maths so that I'll get the total number of fruits. That is what I'm interested in. So if I'll write this entire maths, what will happen? So it will be let me do the calculation directly here. So 0 into 1 plus 1 into 2 plus 2 into 2 plus 3 into 4 plus 4 into 3 plus 5 into 1 plus 19 into 1. So total number of consumptions, I can say that total number of fruits consumed by the freshers are 54. Now how many freshers are there? So freshers are like 1, then we have 3. So I'll sum up the values total, right? So if I'll sum up the values, we have 21 freshers. So if I want to find the average of this data, I have 54 fruits consumed. Total number of students are 21. Then total consumption. Total students are 21. So average comes out to be 54 by 21, which is nothing but 2.57. Did I miss anything? Okay, I missed 6. So plus 6 into 1. Okay, so 2.85. Now, this is again mean, right? The mean, which is pretty much fine. Now I have another data, which is for the seniors. And again, they have the food consumption and number of seniors. Now here the consumptions are less. 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll go till 7, let's say. And here I have one senior with 0 fruit, one senior with 1 fruit, 2 senior with 2 fruits. Then we have 5 seniors with 3 fruits, and we have 3 seniors with 4 fruit, 2 seniors with 5 fruits, 1 senior with 6, and 1 senior with 7 fruits, like they are consuming. Now I want to find the total consumption for the senior. So again, we'll do the calculation. So 0 into 1 plus 1 into 1 plus 2 into 2 plus 3 into 5 plus 4 into 3 plus 5 into 2 plus 6 into 1 plus 7 into 1. So total value comes out to be 55. How many students we have? How many seniors we have? We see around 16. Did I find the correct value here? Sum was 15, so we missed something, right? The count is 21, guys, and the sum is 15. So I have to divide it by 15 here. So that will be 15. So the mean is 4 for the freshers, and here I have total sum is 16. So if I'll take the value, so 55 divided by 16. So the mean is coming as 3.43. Now from here, what we are understanding, if you see here, can I say this 19 is an outlier? Because obviously most of the students are eating the foods which are in the range of 1 to 6. But this 19, there is a guy who is like consuming 19 foods. And because of that, you see that the values are almost the same, 60 and 15, 55 and 16. But because of this guy, who is an outlier, because of that, the mean value is actually increasing, right? For example, let's say we have an exam. We'll take one more example so that we'll understand. Let's say we gave an exam and I got 25 marks out of 100, but the rest of the people got 90 plus. Right? These are the marks. Now, if I want to find the mean of this data set, I'll take the average. Now, because of me, the overall average reduced to 85. Overall class average actually reduced. But let's say if there will be no outliers. Let's say I also got 89 marks. Then in that case, obviously my mean will be at the higher side, 94. So there is a big change happened because of the outlier, right? So from here, what we will understand, from here we clearly understand that with the existence of the outlier, which is like very rare in number, outlier is like very rare in number. So out of these many students, we have 7 students. Out of that, 1 student is poorly performing, and because of that, the overall average of the class is reduced. So when there is an outlier in my data set, my impact on the mean will be very high. Mean is very fluctuating because of the outliers. But if I talk about median, now median is not changing, right? If you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 95 is the median. Now, because of the outlier, median is not actually shifting. For example, let's say I have another exam happened, and this time I got 89. Then other students got 90, 90, 95, 97, 99, 100. Same marks. Now, can you say that the mean is 20? So mean is like 85 here in this data set. 85 is the mean. So my mean is coming as 85, and here my mean is coming as 94. And if I talk about median, median is nothing but the middle value. The data is already sorted. So 95 and 95. You see that in both the data set, 95 and 95 are the median. So you can see that with the outlier, my median is not impacting. However, with the outlier, my mean is pretty much impacting. And outlier doesn't mean that more values. Now you will say that median will also impact when we will have data like 25, 25, 25, 25. Now median is impacting. Now it is 25 is the median. But now this is not an outlier, right? Because I have 3 entries out here. I have 3 or 4 entries out here in my data set. So how will I consider 25 as an outlier? No, outlier is like very rare in number, where the values are out of majority. I have very less people with that number. If you see here in this example, there is a guy who is eating 19 fruits. So this guy is an outlier, right? So that is how my median, which is not impacting with the outlier, but yes, mean is very, very fluctuating. If you see here, mode is also not impacting, right? You see, 90 is a mode. So 90 is also at the higher side. So when I try to help you understand that what will happen, let's say I have a data which is distributed like this. Let's say here I have 25 marks, here I have 100 marks, and this is how my data is. It's a normally distribution. We'll talk about normal distribution in detail. When my data is normally distributed, now here it says that I have people starting from 25 till 100. That means I have 25, 26, 20. I have a lot of people with lesser marks till the higher marks. So here my mean, median, and mode, all the values will be at the center because my data is normally distributed. But let's say if there is an outlier, now how will I plot when there is an outlier? So when there is an outlier, let's say I got 25 marks, but all of you guys got 90 marks or 90 plus, then what will happen? My plot will look like this, right? Now here 25 alone is there, but majority of the population is at the 90. So my median is not going to impact. It will be at the higher side. My mode is also not going to impact. It will be at the higher side. But my mean will be somewhere at the lower side because of this guy. Same way, let's say I have an outlier at the higher side. Let's say we all got very less marks. we all got very less marks, but there is a guy who is like getting high marks, only one guy, right? So the plot will be something this like this. So now there is a guy who is getting 100 marks, but majority of the people are getting around 30 marks. Now what will happen? My median will be at the center, my mode will be at the center, but my mean will be at the higher side because of this guy, right? So that is the behavior that we have to understand, that mean is a good measure to find the center number if there is no outliers. But if there is an outlier, then we prefer to go with median. Okay. So is that making sense to all of you till this point? Now it's pretty much a simple concept, obviously, but I'm not sure how many of you guys are non-mathematical guys. So that's why I want to give some more examples, right? So it will be more clearer for all of us. Let's say we are going for playing a game. Let's say we'll go and playing a cricket match, right? Now let's say Monali scored 85 runs in the match, right? Monali scored 80, let's say 80 runs in the match. Then Kushal comes in and he scored 90. After that, Rakshit comes in and he scored, let's say, 92. Then Vishal comes in and he scored 94. Then Suraksha comes in and she scored 96. Okay. Now this is the 5 scores which we have. Now I want to know, the question arises that how will the change in the mean and median will happen when we got to know that the runs scored by Monali is not valid and I have to remove Monali's score, right? So basically I have 5 players, they scored something. I will take the numbers. So let's say I have 5 scores: 80, 90, 92, 94, 96. And I'll take all the numbers. So first is mean. So my mean is coming as 90.4. You can see at the bottom here. So 90.4 is the mean. So I'll just directly use the Excel function and take out these values. So it is a mean. But after that, we got to know that Monali scored 80 runs was by the cheating, right? It was not 80, and we removed her from the match. And obviously, when we are removing her from the match, then we have to remove her score as well. So now the new list of scores is 90, 92, 94, 96. And these are the new scores. And I want to see what will be the changes because of removing Monali's score. Now here you can see that Monali's score was pretty less, right? And because of that, my mean is shifting towards the lower side. However, when we remove her score, obviously my number of records will reduce as well, but at the same time, my mean is also increasing. Obviously, it will increase because I don't have any lower number. There is no outlier, right? There is no outlier in my data set. So when I'm removing the lower score, that means when I'm removing the outlier basically, then what's happening in the mean? So here mean is increasing because the majority of the values are at the higher side. Suppose if the majority of the values are at the lower side and we are removing a higher value, let's say all scored 60, 60, 60 something, and Monali scored 80, and I'm removing Monali's score, so obviously my mean will reduce to the lower side. So when we have the values which is the outlier basically, which is at the higher side, and we'll remove the outlier and take the average, so obviously my overall average will reduce. But suppose when the mean is at the when the outlier is at the lower side and we'll remove that outlier and take the mean, then it will be at the higher side. But what will happen with the median? So as per our last discussion, the median should not impact much. We'll see that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values. So 92 here in this data set comes out to be median. And in this data set, the median comes out to be middle two values average. That is nothing but 93. So you can see that it is almost the same range. Values are almost in the same range. But there is a big difference, 3. There is a big difference of 3 coming in the score. Right? So that is what we'll able to understand. And if you remove the outlier, then what will happen? And that is what we get here. So there is a change in the mean for sure, which we are seeing. One more example. Let's say there are a group of 4 friends and they want to play bowling, right? They went to the mall and they want to do a bowling. Now, all the friends are keeping track of the scores which they are uh, they are scoring. So the range is like from 150 to 200, right? So 4 friends are there, and this is a question from my side. Now you have to answer. So the friends are ranging from 150 to 200 as a score, apart from one friend who is scoring 270. So basically, there are 4 friends. Out of that, 3 friends are scoring at this range from 150 to 200, and one guy is scoring 270. And what happens that this guy bowls again, and now he is scoring 290. Right? Or let's make this as 230, and now he is scoring 290. Now the question arises: how will increasing this score of this particular guy affect the mean and median? Right? How this score, which is increasing from 230 to 290, will affect the mean and median? So the options I will give you guys as: the first option is both mean and median will increase. That is first option. Option number 2, the median will increase but mean will stay the same. Median will increase, mean no change. Third, mean will increase, median no change. No change means no significant change. No significant change. Fourth is mean is increasing and median will decrease. So what do you think will be the answer? Absolutely right. Option number 3 looks more correct to me. All agree to it? So that is how my thing will work. Let's take the last example for today and we'll wrap up. So let's say now this is where you have to use your brain, right? Now let's say I have 13 salesperson, right? I have 13 salesperson. Now what we are looking for is like they are selling the, let's say, bikes. Okay, now the data which I have says that they are selling the bikes, and the median of individual salesperson, like how much bikes they are selling, basically the median is, let's say, 6. Okay, that means I have 13 salesperson. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have 13 salesperson. And the median is what? The middle value. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is my median. Now I have median and I have the range. Now range is nothing but maximum value minus minimum value, and my range is 4. That means this is my minimum value and this is my maximum value. And this minimum minus maximum is 4. Now the question arises is that is there any salesperson who sold the bikes more than 10? Is there any salesperson who sold the bikes more than 10? Now what do you think? Is there any chance? So Muzammil is saying that no, so I need the reason as well. Will you able to find it? Or let's say the options which you have is, I'll give you 3 options. Is there any salesperson who sold more than 10 bikes? The answer is true or false or not enough information. These are the options you have. So what will you go with? Because the range is 4. So what? I need the proper derivation. Option 3. So Ankush is saying option 3, which is this. Let's take a poll. I think let's have a poll. That will make an interesting thing here. So let me create a poll. Don't ignore the poll, sorry. Let me create a new poll. Edit. So from the poll, we see that how many attendees we have? We have 24 attendees. So majority of the people are saying not enough info. Interesting. Come on quickly, those guys who are sleeping. The poll is for you guys so that you can wake up. 17, 18 out of 20 out of 23. 3 people are left. 2 people left. Come on, quick, guys. 1 more guy left. Who is sleeping? This is not me because I cannot give the answer. 1 guy is sleeping. So he's an outlier, right? So we got the concept of outlier. So he's an outlier. He's not responding or she's not responding. Anyway, so the majority is coming as not enough info. Interesting. But the answer is false. Now question arises, why? Let's try to understand. Let me open the black. So now we know that there are 13 salesperson. The median is 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So median is 6. I have the minimum value and the max value. Minimum minus maximum is range, which is coming as 4, right? Now let's say the question is whether there is a guy who is selling the bikes more than 11, more than 10, sorry. So can I say, let's assume that I want to assume that there is a guy who sold 11 bikes, for example, more than 10. Let's go with 11. So the max value, can I say it's 11? The range is 4. So if I will do 11 minus 4, what is the value coming in? 7. Now can I say that what is the range? Range is like maximum minus minimum. So 11 is the maximum, minimum is 7, the range is 4, which is perfectly fine. Now, is there a chance possible where we will have minimum value as 7 and the median is 6? Is that possible? Are you guys getting it? That means the answer is false, right? All agree? There is no guy who is selling more than 10 bikes. So we have enough information to give the answer. All agree to it? Quickly respond, guys. I don't have whole day. All right. Okay, so this is what I have for today. The basic understanding of mean, median, and mode. I think you guys learned something new. We'll connect again next alternative, which is nothing but Friday, and we'll talk about some more cool stuffs on statistics.